Okay, on the day I was at the cool cuz what? Finally. Whoop. I go hard cuz. Hey y'all, I hope everybody's doing good today. Happy Wednesday. I can't believe how fast September is flying. I know why we are gathered here. I know everybody was expecting me to go live yesterday, but I was not feeling good. So I was like, let me just take the day off, child. This Diddy situation ain't going nowhere. My health comes first. So I just chilled and edited videos instead. So let me go ahead and pull up my screens. I hope everybody's doing good today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shout out to all my new members. Thank y'all for joining. Shout out to all my old members as well. It is a lot. Oh, y'all like the hat? It's giving. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Y'all know I love to switch it up, honey. When you come to this stream, you never know how TT gonna look, okay? I like to switch it up. So it is a lot going on. I did not want to go live until I knew the final verdict of his second bond appeal. And it came out. Somebody check on DJ Envy's weird ass. DJ Envy was on the Breakfast Club this morning, wanting, saying that Diddy should get bond and it's only right. Let me see if I can find the audio. I'm not going to play the video because, the Breakfast Club, they like to, bang on shit. So we're going to listen to the audio, but I'm not going to play the video. But this was DJ Envy, so y'all might want to check on him and, see how he's doing. Since his homeboy, they're not gonna allow him to get bail. So give me just a second here. I'm gonna share the screen so that way we can hear it, and then I'm gonna just be on their full screen. Okay. Let me know if y'all can't hear it. Y'all should be able to hear it though. All right, let's go.
Move it forward and say that Diddy is going to be appealing the decision to not receive bail today. And he's actually going to be appealing that decision, him and his attorney, with Judge Carter. Judge Carter, because I reached out to Diddy's attorney and I said, well, what's the difference? Why appeal the next day? And he said Judge Carter is a judge that will be presiding over the full trial itself.
Different judge, right?
So they think that there will be a difference in that.
Do you think he's going to get a bail?
Do I?
Yeah, I'm just asking
I don't think that Diddy is going to get a bail.
I think Diddy should get a bail.
And,
I ain't asking what you think. I said, do you think he's going to get one?
I think he is. The fact that he's putting up $50 million, the fact that he's putting up his family's passports, his mom's crib, the fact that he said he'll wear a GPS monitoring system, he'll only be in Miami, in New York, the fact that if you look at his family, his two daughters don't have the three of the kids don't have a mom.
Right,
they're staying with a family's friend.
Yeah.
But he has to do all of that because the feds.
This is what I be talking about when I talk about elitism with a lot of these people. They're so out of touch. You know how many regular people who have children, regular kids out here in the system who lost a parent, who lost a mom or a dad to either prison or death? Why are these twins and these grown ass boys any different? Like, there's no sympathy for me for any of these people, especially the older ones. Maybe the girls, because they're minors. Hopefully the girls weren't in no, fuck shit. But as far as the boys, I could care less. Outside of Quincy, because Quincy has been proving that he didn't do anything. I just don't understand. You're not going to see the screen. I already said that. Because we can't use the Breakfast Club video. So anyways, what I don't understand is the fact that he wants him to have bail. See, that's that elitist attitude because he knows his daughter will never be touched by Diddy. You get what I'm saying? It's okay for y'all's daughters, nieces, cousins, sisters to be treated like trash, ran through, picked out the strip club. It's okay for y'all's children. But see, he knows his kids are safe. So of course he can say, I want Diddy to have bond because he knows his kids will never be in that situation. He's created generational wealth. He's well known. So these industry kids are good. But fuck everybody else's kids. This man is a danger. Point blank, period. He should be where he's at right now. I just find that really, really disgusting that he would say that, knowing that he has several daughters. But again, that's that elitist attitude where he thinks that, Diddy should get bond because, he has children out here and, he put up his house and his mama's house. Who gives a fuck? Janice don't own none of that stuff. All the money, cars, cribs that Janice has, she has that based off a Bad Boy artist because they put her name down for the publishing, just like they did Justin. So I just thought it was just really tacky for him to be crying, wanting Diddy to have bond. So anyways, it's come out that he's not getting bonded out. So y'all might want to go ahead and check on DJ Envy, see how he doing. Because he's not going to get the bond. But I was busy watching, I think it's Free Press on Twitter. He was posting a lot of really good stuff. He was there. He's in the courtroom. So he was posting live updates as the conversation was going on. So I want to talk about that. I want to go ahead and read to you guys some of these transcripts. This is the man that DJ Envy and others want out. And I'm glad that the judge saw through the nonsense and said, no, we're not doing that. So let me go. He's been tweeting for like an hour. I want to go to the part where it's kind of juicy. And yeah, they even said that Diddy knew this was coming down the pipeline. He knew that he was going to have to go to court eventually and that he would be arrested. He's known as early as March. But people are swapping down with some type of, conspiracy theory, and he's never going to get locked up and, things like that. But he knew. That's why he was out there trying to mingle with the fans and back in Harlem, hanging out with his crackish friends. That's why he was doing all that, because he knew all this was coming down the pipeline. So let me see here. So basically, in this second hearing, because the first one was a different judge, this is a judge that's going to be looking over the case. And so what they're trying to say is that basically, Diddy deserves to be bonded out. He's given up his passports and he can be on house arrest and he's not going to be around any females. He won't drink. He won't do any drugs, all that stuff. But the problem is Diddy has shown that while he was out and he knew that this, arrest was coming up, Diddy was reaching out to people. He was having his staff, record label and crew reach out to people, victims, witnesses. They even have it that he called Kalina, who was a part of Dirty Money, called her 57 times, I believe, even called her at 2 o'clock in the morning. What do you have to talk to her about at 2 o'clock in the morning? And then we see how she put out her statement after Don had filed the lawsuit. So that's what they're basically going back and forth with. Let me see here. Okay, let me start at the top and work my way down. Okay, let's start from here because this was like a 2-hour thing. I was watching his tweets as he was posting them. So let me go ahead and share this with y'all here. Let me see if I can kind of zoom in a bit so y'all can see. Okay, so I'm just going to read to you guys just some of this stuff that was being stated in the courtroom. Y'all should be able to see, right? Okay. All right, y'all. I'm getting the hang of this streaming thing. All right. So in this first tweet, the AUSA is saying the defendant would record freak-offs, at least in part to use them to blackmail. We have an email. A victim says, you are going to make me. I'm not going to say it on public record, or you're going to leak some FO shit. So they're basically saying that Diddy has a history of recording these freak-offs to then hold this over people's heads. And then they go on to say, a different victim wrote, he said he's going to expose me with the sex tape. I was drugged. That was just 2 examples. So it's rich when the defendant's submission filed today accuses the victim of extorting when he's the only extorter. Okay, so this is the prosecution and the defense. They're going back and forth. So Diddy's defense team was saying that he's being extorted by, these so-called witnesses and victims and everything else. And they're basically pulling receipts. So even though the trial has not started, they had to unfortunately pull a lot of these receipts out to basically plead to the judge to not give this man a bond. So this is why a lot of this stuff is coming out, because they're trying to keep him behind bars. So then they go on to say, we see 6 guns. They were in the defendant's home. He had access to them. We are focused on the defaced guns in the defendant's closet. This is not about security, but dangerousness. The security team is the same one that says that they would monitor him. So again, they're coming back and saying, y'all are claiming that y'all are going to keep him, monitored. There are going to be cameras in the homes and ankle bracelets and all this stuff. But even though he had paid security, why would he need paid security if he's also having defaced guns where he scratched off the serial number? Well, that's because he's doing dirt outside of his paid security. So like everything Diddy's attorney is bringing to the prosecution, they're clocking the T for the judge. Then they're going to say the head of security has now been served a subpoena, given what we've learned about his role in the offensive conduct. Now about the hotel assault. Yesterday, defense counsel called it a fight in a relationship, but it's trafficking. Then they say the defendant had a freak off on March 5th, 2016. We have the evidence. There were one commercial sex worker there in the room during the assault. She isn't even wearing shoes. She's in danger. The defendant storms out in a towel. So they're talking about the whole fight that went down with Cassie and Diddy. Then they're going to say, we have a message from the victim. I still have crazy bruising. He claims he wanted to get his clothes back, but that's not what happened to her. She tried to escape the room with the defendant and a commercial sex worker. She fled without shoes. Okay? So they're basically low-key leaking some of the things that Cassie said via text message. And this was like the day afterwards. She's saying that she still has a lot of crazy bruising from that beatdown. Then they go on to say, immediately after the assault, the defendant sent messages, call me, the cops are here. I got 6 kids. Yo, please call. I'm surrounded. You gonna abandon me all alone? The defendant knew he had done something that could elicit police response. Okay? So I don't know if the police were actually called because we all know, what we do know is that he had paid off the hotel staff, right? So being that they were paid off to hide the videotape, I don't know if the police were called that day. I don't think they were. I think he might have been saying that to bait her, to bait Cassie to call him. And, it's the audacity for me to sit here and cry that, I have 6 kids. Were you thinking about your 6 kids, your twin daughters, the single daughter, and, well, the new baby wasn't there yet. Were you thinking about at least your 3 daughters at the time when you were stomping out this woman? Don't bring the kids up now. When you're having these nasty freak-offs and you're having all this bisexual sex with random sex workers, you know what I'm saying? Are you thinking of the 6 children then? No, you're not. You're trying to bust a nut, so keep the same energy, bitch. Okay? Keep the same energy. I don't want to hear shit about no 6 kids. All right, next. Then they go on to say, he covered up what he did this year after the surveillance video came out. Only then did he admit that it was him. Yesterday it was claimed that his clothes were taken, but that's not what happened. Why drag the victim back down the hallway to the room, So again, his defense attorney is saying, well, she stole his clothes. Remember, that was the rumor on social media, that's why he came running out there in a towel, because she stole his clothes, took his money, But he didn't grab the bag and run back into the hotel room. He beat the brakes off of her and dragged her, bag and all, back into the hotel room. So I love the fact that they're clocking everything that Diddy's attorney is throwing at the prosecution. They're clocking the T. Then they go on to say this, and then the fact that he covered it up. Remember, for months, oh, she's a liar. This is a scheme cooked up by Todd. There's all types of schemes. But then when the video hit, remember, he had to make that sad video where, a lot of us assumed he was in Bali. Remember, he had the same roof as Russell Simmons. He was over there crying, and, he was in a really dark place. You think? And he would not have admitted that had that video evidence had not leaked to CNN. Then they go on to say, the indisputable evidence makes it clear that you cannot take this defendant at his word. March 5th, 2016 is far from the defendant's lone act of violence and obstruction. Freak-off activity is core of this case. They use force, coercion, and drugs. Our investigation is ongoing. Half a dozen escorts is just the tip of the iceberg of the number of escorts who have participated in these freak-offs. This case is charged, this case is charged sex trafficking by force, fraud, and coercion. The acts were not consensual. So they're saying so far they have half a dozen escorts. Those are just the ones that they're able to possibly recognize from the tapes. Because remember, they were also saying in that press conference yesterday that if you're on these tapes, if you know anybody, please contact us. This is an open investigation. And this went on for years. So I can only imagine how many women and men have been involved in Diddy's freak-offs. Let's see here. Then they're going to say, the defense is arguing that anyone in a freak-off wanted to be there. That is not the law. When people were threatened with exposure and are beaten, and they cannot consent. This is trafficking. Victims' heads were slammed against the car windows. So while a lot of people are thinking that, and I'm not saying that some of these women weren't there by their own choice, because some of y'all bitches be looking for attention. As long as it's attached to a big dick in a bag, a lot of y'all are going. So we're not going to act like all of these women were just innocent and they had no idea what was going on. I'm not that willfully ignorant to ignore the truth, okay? But what people need to also understand is that not everybody was a willing participant. And that is what the prosecution is bringing up. That if everybody was willing, because again, I don't care what grown folks do, but if everybody was willing, why were people beaten? Why were women's heads slammed against car doors? You have people who are professional prostitutes. They're professional escorts. They're down for the freaky shit. But again, like I always tell y'all, a lot of things with these sexual deviants, it's about power. And so when they're dealing with a professional prostitute or a professional escort, there's not a power dynamic there. If anything, she knows her power. She's willing to get down. They want young, innocent women who really have no idea what's going on. They're coming as fans. They're coming to, enjoy, being amongst these celebrities. So they have no idea until that door shuts behind them. So again, if all of these were consensual, why were women being beaten? And that's what the prosecution is bringing up. So for DJ Envy to be sitting here crying, talking about Diddy deserves a bond, you need to have a tall glass to shut the fuck up, sir. Then they go on to say this. Here are some text messages. So they're bringing up text messages that are placed in the evidence folder to further reiterate why this man does not need bond. So in one of the text messages, one of the women from the freak-offs, or girls, said this: when you get fucked up, you knock me around. I'm not a rag doll. I'm somebody's child. We have witnesses who witnessed the injuries. This conduct happened behind closed doors, in-house, hotel rooms, cars. Judge Tarnamask, I don't know how to pronounce the name, sorry, Judge, was concerned. So this person is saying, when you get fucked up, meaning when you get high, let's keep it real. Can we have an honest conversation? Diddy's a cokehead. Diddy is a drug addict. That is how a lot of people get down in the industry. They get high, they do bumps, they do lines, they pop pills. Diddy has a severe drug problem, okay? And so what this person is saying, when you get fucked up, AKA when you're high off of whatever concoction you're high off of, when you're drunk as a skunk, because he's also an alcoholic, when you're drunk as a skunk, you put hands on me and you beat on me like I'm a rag doll, like I'm not somebody's child. It's one thing to participate and say, I want to be involved in some freaky deaky shit with these celebrities. That's your grown business. But I can probably attest to the fact that most women, they might be down for threesomes and trains ran on them or whatever else they do, behind closed doors with these celebs. But I'm sure that 100% of them did not sign up to be beat like rag dolls. That's a whole nother situation right there. So it's very, very disturbing. We're going to keep going. So the next text message, message on Twitter says this. Judge Tarnovsky, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Y'all know I'm not that good with names, child. Found that she did not believe the defense counsel and she did not believe that the defense counsel can control the defendant. Consider the Mercedes case in the circuit reversing the decision to release a defendant. Let's turn to obstruction. Let's turn to the obstruction. Witnesses have expressed extreme fear of him. So in this, they're basically saying that the judge does not believe that the counsel, Diddy's lawyers, his security, Mama Combs, whoever, she does not feel like they can control him and, keep him away from the witnesses and the victims. And a lot of the people who are going to be forced, because this is a federal case. So even the ones who feel like, I don't want to, no snitching, I don't want to be involved. Bitch, you're involved, okay? They will be called to testify. And so a lot of people are saying that they have extreme fear of this man, which makes sense. This man has been accused of, killing Tupac and Biggie at this point. So, I don't doubt that they're fearful of him. Then they're going to say they have directly contacted victims in November of 2023. Constant contact with witness to the charged conduct at the subpoena before the government interviews. Two of these examples are there were communications between the defendant and a witness, 13 contacts. I believe one of those people, because they said victim, that he was contacting was for sure Cassie. For sure Cassie. That's why, remember, we all said at the BET Awards, when he got up there and was like, I want to thank Cassie. I was in a really dark place, and I want to thank her for holding me down. Remember, when looking back on that, we said that was a dog whistle. How's he up there thanking Cassie? But you got this biscuit head chick, Carisha, holding up a sign talking about, hey, Poppy, 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 Poppy. Okay? And he don't even acknowledge Carisha. And that's supposed to be his shorty doo-wop. He don't even acknowledge her. But is acknowledging Cassie, somebody that he's been broke up with since like 2018 or so. So I believe not only was that a dog whistle to Cassie, but that he was also contacting her as well. So now they're going to say 13 contacts with 2 people. 14 contacts between the defendant and witness. He also reached out to a witness he had not been in contact with for several years after the grand jury subpoena. He uses intermediaries, meaning he uses his staff, record label, and the crew to contact people. So he may not contact them directly, but he might have Harvey Pierre contact them, or security, or the head fry cook in his house. Then they go on to say he recorded the conversation on another person's device in November of 2023. He twice called a victim. On November 19th, he received a text message from the other person in response. It reads, I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. 3 pages, my experience. So they're basically saying that he's trying to be slick. He's using somebody else's phone. I don't know whose phone he's using. It could be security's phone. It could be Justin's. I don't know, right? So he's using somebody else's phone to contact said witness. And as the person is relaying the message, even the person is saying to him, I feel like I'm reliving my own sexual trauma. That's crazy. That is crazy. Let's see here. Then they go on to say here, the defendant called her and gaslit her, trying to convince her it was consensual. He repeatedly said, I'm not supposed to be speaking on the phone. He tells the witness not to text him. The defendant says, if I support, nothing to worry about, money. So I believe that he might have been contacting Kalina at that point, and also Cassie as well. And, he's trying to contact a lot of the women that he had, these freaky freak-offs with, and trying to gaslight them and say, look, everything was consensual, right? You agreed to everything. It wasn't a situation where I just took it. It was consensual. So he's trying to, coerce them into saying that everything was consensual. We're all adults here. We all wanted to engage in these freak-offs. So he's planting seeds. Then they go on to say this. The defendant wrote his financial advisor should not make a mistake and not get that rent paid. This was obstruction. We cite the U.S. versus Lafontaine, a defendant who fed a false narrative. That's what's going on here. So they're saying that Diddy wrote the financial advisor and basically said, do not make a mistake. Do not pay somebody's rent. So basically he was paying somebody's rent, hush money to keep him quiet. Remember, R. Kelly was doing the same thing. A lot of the so-called R. Kelly victims were on his payroll. We're getting checks every month. So it looks like the same thing might have been happening in this case with Diddy. So he was calling, I guess once the person wasn't going, he called the financial advisor and said to not pay the rent. Make sure you don't make a mistake and pay the rent. So let's see here. Then he goes on to say, I'll go over the case. Judge Carter, that's not necessary. I'm familiar with those cases. A recent civil suit. Last week, Don Richard filed a civil suit. She was in a band also with Miss Harper. Miss Harper issued a statement after 128 phone contacts. So let that sink in. Remember, after Don sued and told her truth, Don said that Kalina witnessed a lot of the abuse. Usher, The Dream. Who was the other one? The white dude. Jimmy Iovine. They all watched P. Diddy put hands on Cassie at the dinner table. I think he punched her in the stomach or something, if I'm not mistaken. And all the guys just kept right on eating. And so when people ran to confront Usher, they ran to confront all these people, Kalina. She ignored it. So at that point, what they're saying is that after that came out, Diddy or somebody on Diddy's team contacted her 128 times. And then lo and behold, she released that statement that was posted on the Shade Room. So yeah, this goes deep. If y'all want me to stop reading, I can stop reading. Y'all want me to keep going? Because I'm seeing trolls talking about move on. There's other people streaming that you can go watch. I'm trying to break this case down to y'all. Keep going? Okay. All right, let's go. Let's keep sipping this tea. All right. So then, let's see here. They go on to say, we didn't deal with the Lawrence Ray's case. Magistrate Judge Fox ordered detention, even one victim, but the judge found that corroborated by documentary evidence. Judge, anything else? A few more things. How many things? 3 minutes. Let's see here. Then they go on to say, traveling to New York does not address the danger to the community. I am here seeking detention, but I note that the bail package does not have enough conditions that focus on obstruction, and he's been involving other people. So basically they're saying that even if it's not him per se contacting these people, he's using people. He's using his team to contact these people as well. Then they say the defendant should be detained pending trial. Judge, the defense, Combs' lawyer, Mark Anafilo. Child, I'm sorry. Let me start with Miss Harper. I was called by her and her lawyer. I said, do what you want, make a statement or not. I later found out that she did. Okay? So the lawyer is saying that Kalina and her lawyer contacted them, and he's basically saying, well, do what you got to do. If you need to put out a statement, do that. Well, it's very interesting that she contacted you after she was contacted 128 times. They basically have all this man's phone records, so they're able to see this. Then they say Combs' second lawyer, Tenny Garagos, Miss Harper felt that she was being besmirched. We did speak with her at 2 a.m. on the 11th. Judge, after speaking, what would be the reason for Mr. Combs to continue contacting her? Garrigo, she was concerned that she was in the media. Now, how disturbing is that? That alone is intimidating. Anybody contacted me at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't want to talk to lawyers of anybody at 2 a.m. One, you're interrupting my sleep. And two, that's nerve-wracking. You know? So that's very telling. The fact that they're having confidential, court-related conversations at 2 a.m., even that time comes off as intimidating. Waking somebody out their sleep to talk about this situation. Was it Neo? Did I say the dream? I'm sorry if I said the dream was Neo. Okay, let me correct that. It was Neo. I apologize. I knew it was one of them singers. So it was Neo. Okay, it wasn't the dream. Sorry. All right, let's see here. Then they go on. Then Diddy's lawyer says, I have bought today the head of Sage Intelligence. We are proposing that Sage Intelligence personnel and all former law enforcement will be monitoring the residence of Mr. Combs 24/7. They will have 1 or 2 employees there at all times. So that's him, basically telling the judge, like, look, we're going to have top flight security there. He's not going to be out of their sight. He's going to be fully monitored. Then he also proposes this. There will be a visitor's log. Only pre-approved could come in. We could give the list to the courts. Mr. Combs would not have a cell phone or access to the internet. That way, no witness intimidation will be completely nullified. So again, trying to still put things out there for the judge. Then he says, having Sage Intelligence on site, we'll do what we have to do, even 3 there. If don't believe that, some of this doesn't make sense. If don't believe that Mr. Combs' action in coming to New York are only about risk of flight, it shows that he is deeply respectful of the court's authority. He is responsible. Then he says, Mr. Combs knew he was under investigation and gave us his passport. This is not defense lawyer theater. We took the passport of 5 of his family members. We have a letter of intent. We have a letter of intent to sell for his airplane. We have 3 buyers who didn't work out. So basically, he's trying to point all this stuff out to the judge, like, look, he's taking this seriously. He gave us his passport. I guess his sons gave up their passports as well. On top of that, he's trying to sell his plane, but 3 of the buyers didn't work out. So he's trying to add sauce to the stew. Like, trying to prove to the judge that, Diddy is going to respect the courts and he's not going to run. Then the judge says, can you get to the point? Diddy's lawyer says it shows that he's trustworthy. He's not a defendant who says, come find me, like Maxwell and Epstein. Judge, how does that relate to the danger and obstruction? If he was aware in April, why was he contacting witnesses? You see how that judge is clocking that T? The judge got her gavel and she's like, objection, okay? She's clocking his T. That if he was so complicit with the courts, why is he contacting witnesses and victims? Then his lawyer says a woman contacted him. She says she got a subpoena. We told him don't speak to her. Judge, talk to me about the danger. The lawyer, people who are danger are people who are contemptuous of the court. But Mr. Combs has never been contemptuous of the court. Then he brings this up. He had a case in New York in 1999. He came to court every time. He showed up on time. The judge, under your plan, will he have employees? The lawyer, they handle his finances. They are in California. Judge, would he be able to leave his residence? No. Attorney says no. It's funny that he's bringing up the court case in 1999. Let's talk about that. Let's clock that T. The reason why he came to court every single day in 1999, showed up in his double-breasted suit with a big old smile, is, let's not forget, he paid off half the witnesses. Remember the girl who got, the lady who got pow-powed in the face? She even said this. There were witnesses in the club that corroborated that Diddy was the one who pow-powed her. But once he got to speaking to people and, having them get rid of evidence, all of a sudden everybody changed their tune. So yeah, I would show up to court every day too, if I knew I was going to get off. Remember, everything got pinned on Shine. He knew he wasn't going to go to jail. So of course he could strut like a peacock every day in court. That's not proof. Exactly. Miss AB said that too. What's up, Miss AB? Miss Arlene? Got the gavel? He showed up to intimidate witnesses. Thank you. Thank you. Then they go on to say this. Judge, and the security, they could be there in the house. The lawyer, yes, in shifts. We could put cameras filming 24 hours a day. They can do spot checks. He doesn't use the internet. We can make sure it's secure as we need to make it. There are already cameras there. Yeah, we know that there are cameras in the Diddy house. Yeah, we know. Then the judge says the video is troubling. He was 40-something years old. Lawyer, he realized that he has a problem with drug addiction and anger. Oh, sounds a little crackish to me. He went into a rehab program for a period of time. The woman in the video also went to rehab around the same time. But now let's ask the real question. How did the woman in the video get addicted to drugs in the first place? He was her supplier. Remember, he got Cassie when she was young, 19. And within a few months, got her hooked on drugs. So if she went into rehab, that's because she needed it and he needed it. But even since then, right, that was 2016. His behavior and the way that he's been acting since then, you can tell he still gets high. It's very apparent. Y'all saw that nasty video with him and his mom kissing each other on the lips, talking about, yeah, my mom still got it. She can put her hands on the ground, palms down. Like, who even looks at their mom in that way? I don't want to look at my mom with her palms on the ground with her ass up. Those are not sane conversations that you have with your mother. Dude's a weirdo. Then they go on to say, the lawyer says they loved each other. The written messages are heartbreaking. The sex, the violence were totally separate, motivated by separate things. The way they chose to be intimate, they would bring a third person on. They chose that. Judge, what does that have to do with him punching her, throwing a vase at her? What's love got to do with that? I know that's right, Judge. I know that's right. I like this judge. Can't pronounce her name worth shit, but I like this judge. She's clocking their tea. Okay, that's fine. They like freaky shit. Cassie likes to get, have sex with random people for days at a time. That's her grown business. What does that have to do with him punching her and throwing a vase at her and treating her like a football, kicking her down the hallway? I love the fact that their tea's being clocked. The judge is definitely eating. Yes, she is. I like the judge. Then they go on to say, the lawyer says that was jealousy from infidelity in both directions. Mr. Combs and the other person. The violence is from that. The judge says, what is your point? So even if, let's say Cassie was cheating. Let's say she was cheating with, what is that man's name? He had blew up the car. I can't even think of his name right now. Kid Cudi. Let's say that was the situation, right? Diddy found out that Cassie was cheating with Kid Cudi. Well, as a grown adult, cut her off and move on. You're Diddy. You can get anybody else you want to. Somebody cheating on you does not give you the right to put hands on them and beat them. And that goes for both men and women. It sucks to be cheated on. We've all been there. But that doesn't give you the right to put your hands on somebody because you were cheated on. So that is a very, very poor excuse. Then they go on to say here, the judge says, and you say that they invited a third person. If that person is a commercial sex worker and they traveled across state lines, isn't that a problem? The lawyer says, I've spoken with the agency. They say that they are not paid for sex, but if they feel like it. That makes no sense. So you spoke to the agency. They're saying that these sex workers at the agency are not paid for sex unless they feel like it. Which one is it? Are they paid for sex or not paid for sex? Because this agency sounds like a legit escort service. Sounds like some Heidi Fleiss shit. Okay? Then he goes on to say, the former government of New York, he did this. He was not prosecuted. And they are prosecuting Mr. Combs for it. Judge, let's get back to that video and physically beating. Why isn't it that relevant to the dangerousness? The lawyer, it's not sex trafficking. The lawyer then says, even if you don't trust him, trust the bond package. $50 million bond, no internet, Sage. That will give court comfort that he's not a flight risk. Then he can prepare for his trial. We had known this was coming. He could have ran in March. So proof that they had known since March that they were coming for this man. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? So he knew. He knew. Let's see here. So then the judge basically says, I've heard from the parties. I find that the government have proven that the defendant is a danger. Regarding the bail package, it's insufficient, even on the risk of flight. Sean Combs will remain detained. That is the judge's ruling. He is not getting out. He's going to remain behind bars until his trial, most likely. There was another funny thing that was said in here too. Let me see. He then tells the judge, Diddy was an actual altar boy. The judge says, how far back are you going? Then he says he watches a sermon every day. He has done a great deal to earn the court's trust. I ask that you release him. Why is he acting like he's an altar boy now at the big age that he is? We don't care that he sits around on Sunday and watches TD Jakes. This man is a deviant. He's been a deviant for years. I've called this out. Many people have called this out over the years. So I'm glad the judge ruled that. I'm glad the judge ruled that. Let me see if there's anything else. So, okay, so he just posted this. The judge, what's your position on a speedy trial? Lawyer, I'm not prepared to waive it. The judge says the first date is October 9th at 2 p.m. We move to exclude time under the Speedy Trial Act. Lawyer, I can't consent. I'll know on October 9th. Judge, I exclude the time till then. So, yeah, the judge got them all the way together. The judge cleared house. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to read for the most part. So the next hearing is October 9th. They might fight again to try and get him another bond hearing. But it looks like, and this is the judge that I'm hearing is supposed to be overseeing the case. She doesn't sound like she's playing. She's not here for none of the nonsense. And again, it just goes to show you the arrogance that he knows that they've been following him, tapping his phone line and everything else since March. And he's still reaching out to Cassie, Kalina, and other people. It's insane. Even when he tried to get back to publishing, was that in March? Let me Google. When did Diddy try to get back to publishing? So that was in September. So yeah, he definitely knew some stuff was coming down the pipeline. Huh. Yeah, that was in September when he first started talking about giving back publishing after 2 decades. Wow. Let me share this here. So this was in September. Diddy gives Bad Boy artists publishing back after 2 decades. This means the artists will likely be able to license and profit from their music they recorded over the years while signed to Diddy's recording label, which we found out later was bullshit. So I think this man has known for a while that he's been under investigation. I think he knew that the shit was getting ready to hit the fan. Diddy's not a nice person. He's done a lot of things to people in the industry. And I'm not just talking about his artists, just in general. He's not a nice person. Very arrogant, very mean. I've never really heard good stories about Diddy. And so, because a lot of people do not like him. Like, he might put on this facade for y'all and on social media, he's brother love. But people who know him behind the scenes, people in the celebrity world, they don't have a lot of nice things to say about him. So I think when he started doing all this stuff, trying to reinvent himself, I believe he was doing all this because he knew that, you know, with that lawsuit that Cassie put on him, he wasn't trying to pay her, which to me is silly. Had he paid her, he probably wouldn't be where he's at now. But he knew all this was coming down the pipeline. So what he's trying to do is not only change public perception, right? Like, I'm giving back the publishing, but he's also trying to change the perception of all these artists and people who worked with him over the years. So all of this was very, very calculated. But I clocked that as soon as I heard it. As soon as I heard it, I said, that's bullshit. These people now barely make money off of streams, and you're trying to give them publishing back for music from 2 decades ago? What 18 and 19-year-old is waking up wanting to listen to like a random Danity Kane song or a random song from G-Dep? Said no 18-year-old ever in this day and age. So it was just a ploy for him to, like, you know, try to repair his image. So it's going to be very interesting, honestly, to see what ends up happening with this situation. I think with this, the rabbit hole goes deep. I mean, he's been trending all day. Carisha's been trending all day. I think it's going to be a lot of people being caught in. I think anybody, let me see here. Everybody keeps bringing back up that tweet. And she's so dumb, she still got it up. Not that the internet ever forgets, but everybody keeps retweeting that tweet. Where she said here, if I wanted you to eat my pussy, Diddy would have had you on your knees, ho. You a eater. This person says, the internet will never make me feel bad for Carisha. Thank you. That's exactly how I feel. Y'all can be City Girl fans all y'all want to. I could care less. I think she's trash, and she's been trash for a long time. And she's one of those people, she got off on that power. She got off on it. And she loved it. When she thought she was that girl, and she thought she was the main one, oh, she loved flexing her power. So at this point, I call her Madam Carisha. So I think that she better hope that she don't end up with a case behind this. Because I wouldn't be surprised if she was doing a bunch of nasty shit with them people from Zeus. Remember, all these people was hopping on that big white bed in his backyard. I wouldn't be surprised if he was using her, you know what I'm saying, as bait to bring on Krishan and all these other people. I think they all had a big-ass freak-off the day that the Zeus people were there with Krishan. The way her and Krishan were grinding on each other, and Diddy was, you know, gave Krishan a kiss. It was just too much. It was too much. Now, one thing else I've noticed is a lot of people keep saying, well, what about Hugh Hefner, and what about, you know, Jeffrey Epstein, and, you know, they're just trying to take down this black man. Again, I talk about it all on this channel, you know, unless you're new here. I was talking about the Hollywood swamp being drained with Harvey Weinstein when most black outlets weren't covering it. So I've always talked about just the degeneracy in Hollywood and in the industry overall, right? My thing is, who gives a damn? We're talking about Diddy right now. Why do we always have to deflect and bring up other people? What about the white man? What about him? Last time I checked, Harvey Weinstein was in prison. Last time I checked, Jeffrey supposedly killed himself. I believe he was murdered, but that's a whole nother subject. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's in prison. Hugh Hefner is dead. Y'all want to dig him up? And I did a whole deep dive on Hugh Hefner, exposing all the deviant shit he was involved in, from devil worshiping to all the just the muck. If you never watched my Playboy deep dive, check that out. I went way deeper than A&E. So I don't support any of these deviants. Women as well. I think anybody who was involved in this, Carisha included, send her ass to prison. You want to play like the black Ghislaine Maxwell? Off to prison you go. See, the problem is a lot of people have been in this industry. Damn, I got 15,000 people watching me? Oh, shit. Hey, y'all. I thought it was just like 6,000 of us. The problem is we've allowed people unfettered access, unlimited power, not because they're necessarily good people, simply because of a following, because they make good music. And we made it to the point where a lot of these people felt so comfortable that they could disrespect the average man and woman. Because I can bet you any money, his daughters will never be involved in a freak-off. Nobody can step to his daughters in a disrespectful way. And I've said this before. All of these same disgusting industry men act like their daughters' coochies are gold. But meanwhile, they don't have a problem treating your daughter like she's trash. And my thing is, have the same respect for everybody's daughter, sister, mother, as you want given to your own children, to your own sister, to your own mother. But that's the problem, is that you have a lot of people who sit up here, we worship celebrity culture. Can't nobody hold them accountable. For years, I would talk about Diddy and the nonsense that he would do, and I would be attacked constantly. You're just trying to bring a black man down. You're so disgusting. You always got something smart to say about him. I don't like him. I don't have to like who you like. If you're a fan of his, bless you. That is between you, him, and God. I don't have to like any of your faves. There's certain people I like and enjoy, and there's some people I don't like. And I don't have to. I don't have to explain that, why I don't like somebody. If they don't sit well with my spirit, they don't sit well with my spirit. And I'm not going to fake the funk to be popular on social media. No, I'm good. I've watched this man from the time I was a child do people wrong over and over and over again and reinvent himself over and over and over again. We only allow that in celebrity spaces. If a regular person burnt people the way Diddy burnt people, there would be no second chance. Let somebody owe you money, owe your cousins money, owe the girl down the street money, owe the man around the corner money. Guess what? Nobody's fucking with that person no more because they're trifling. They have a scarlet letter on them and we keep it pushing. But with these celebs, we'll make excuses and we'll allow them to reinvent themselves and change up who they are. So I don't feel bad for anything going on with him. A lot of these people did this. They were allowed to do it because, again, they had power, money, and prestige. And a lot of people were willing to look the other way. Same thing with R. Kelly. And like I'm saying, am I saying that every last one of these women are victims? No. I think some of these women were involved. They enjoyed the money. They enjoyed the lifestyle. And now that the feds are coming knocking, everybody wants to jump ship. Just like with the R. Kelly situation. You had that old asshole who was a damn DJ, had a good job down in Texas. She left her job to go be one of R. Kelly's side chicks, only to be locked in a room, pissed on, and disrespected. What made you think that you was any different than when he disrespected Aaliyah and was peeing on a minor? But see, that's the problem. Like I always say, there's no girl code. People will get with these men thinking, oh, it won't be done to me. What makes you so special? It's sad. R. Kelly had been an abusive asshole been doing all types of mess since when we were kids. But so many women still chose to run behind him. That's why I said when it comes to the R. Kelly case, I feel bad for the old victims, the old school victims. These new hoes, I don't give a damn. That bitch Faith and her herpes, she can kick rocks. Because a lot of these girls be chasing fame and will throw common sense out the window as long as that man has money, power, and a name. And then as soon as the money dries up and the fame dries up, now they want to cry and do a surviving R. Kelly. That's why I felt bad for none of them new victims. Because y'all knew what it was. And that's the problem, is that people will sit here and throw common sense out the window basically because it's a celebrity. If the average man can't come and have you doing all types of freaky deaky shit, have you, smashing random guys for days at a time, and so much so that you done fuck so much that you need an IV. If a random guy can't do that to you, why would you allow a celebrity to do it? Because again, some of these people are also chasing fame, and they want that proximity to money, fame, attention, followers. At this point, I think this whole industry needs to crumble. And I'm not just saying hip hop, because this is not a hip hop situation. I hate how people try to make it seem like it's just a black situation. This is not hip hop. Diddy learned this from somewhere. And for y'all who have watched my deep dives, put a teacup if you watch my Diddy deep dive. I did like a 4 or 5 part series. He learned it from somewhere. He didn't go from being an A&R to having all this power. He watched this. He was groomed for this. This didn't start with Diddy. The whole industry needs to be destroyed. From Hollywood to the music industry. Hell, look what we're finding out is going on even with YouTube and Mr. Beast. People get money and power and let it go to their heads, and I think that is the scariest thing. That, like, at what point do you stop being human? At what point do you not have an empathy chip? At what point do you watch a man put hands on a woman like that, but because of who the man is, you're willing to look the other way and take a check? It's sad. And I think that we all need to check ourselves as a society, myself included, because I think we've all become so desensitized to a lot of stuff. The news cycle moves so fast, and, we're so used to just seeing violence and crazy stuff on social media and the movies on television. We all need to check ourselves. We become very, very desensitized to stuff. Things that should be common sense are no longer common sense anymore. And when you call it out, you're told you're a hater. Ask yourself, why is it that everything that's related to hip hop that gets pushed to the youth, it's degenerate? From the music to the attitudes. Remember a few years ago, everybody kept talking about threesomes and threesomes and threesomes. And I had to call it out like, this makes no sense. Why are we constantly pushing threesomes as just a normal, that's just a normal part of a relationship? That's a normal part of a marriage. No, it's not. What you choose to do behind closed doors is your business. But when I see celebrities constantly trying to push this, you're trying to glamorize it and normalize it for the young girls. That's what you're doing. Because grown folks like me see through the nonsense. You're trying to glamorize it and normalize it. So now when insert rapper walks up to a young girl at the club who just turned 18, she's legal, right? And says, I'm such and such rapper. I want you to come back and have a threesome with me, my girl. She's not going to think twice because it's in the music. It's normal. Freak offs. We become so desensitized to stuff that alarm bells are not even ringing in a lot of these young girls' heads. And young men too. Let me not forget the men, because a lot of these men were abused as well. It's really sad. This is why I always tell y'all have to have open and honest conversations with y'all's kids. You just have to. And it's not to like knock any particular rappers or entertainers, because right, I listen to the music, but you also have to understand that it's just music and it's nothing that you want to mirror your life behind. Think about how long Diddy had us fooled as a community. You couldn't tell me that he didn't own Ciroc growing up. So many of my friends got into drinking because of the constant Ciroc commercials that would play in the 2000s. If you didn't know no other liquor name, you knew Ciroc. Drinking's never been my thing. I don't drink unless it's like an occasion, birthday, and even then, my face be screwed up. That's just not my thing. But to each its own, right? I just find it funny that all of the stuff that they promote, it's never really like healthy stuff, things to better people. It's always liquor, drugs, gambling. That's the new thing now. Jay-Z, they're all promoting gambling, sports betting, just more stuff to get black folks into debt. Instead of teaching us how you built your generational wealth. Oh, gamble now, sports betting. And I hate it because I even see it. My kids talk about sports betting all the time. When did gambling become so glamorized now? All the influencers, sports betting, gambling. And I get them too. They send me emails. Oh, we want to sponsor your channel. Can you? Like I tell y'all all the time, all money's not good money. You'll never see me promoting anything with gambling, tobacco, or liquor. And I get asked all the time. I'm not going to promote something that I don't partake in. I'm not a drinker, I don't smoke, and I don't gamble. So why would I, in turn, promote that to my audience? Especially when I know that most of my audience, they're young. Between the ages of 18 to about 30. I'm not doing that. But ask yourself why these celebrities who are already rich, supposed billionaires, millionaires, and everything else, why is it that that's all they promote to us? Because if we normalize constant drinking, binge drinking, getting high, popping pills, drinking lean, then when they approach you in the club or approach you, wherever, your guards are down. You're high all the time. You'll be easier to control. Because if you're already popping mollies in your bedroom, when Diddy comes to the booby trap to come recruit girls, it's not going to be a big deal. Because you've been doing ecstasy on the low. So you got to really see the games that are being played here with the entertainment industry. Somebody said I'm preaching. Oh my, how long have I been on here? I've been on here for an hour. Okay, thank y'all. Let me go ahead and read some of these comments here and these messages. Let's see here. Thea W says, Baltimore. Shout out to my bestie, Asia, original OG T-Sippa. Thank you so much, Thea. Appreciate you for coming in, sis. Coming to join us today. We got a lot of people in the house. Over 15,000 people. Wow. AC says, dang, everyone is going live right now, but I can only choose one. Hey, T. Hey, everyone. Well, I'm glad y'all are joining me because I seen a lot of people going live. I'm like, dang, we probably won't only get like 5,000 people in here, but okay. I appreciate y'all coming. Aaron says, I made it. Glad you went live. Love you, Auntie. Love you, too. Thank you for checking in, Aaron. Broken Angel says, fresh and fine all the time. Get it, T. Thank you so much, Broken Angel. A Million sent 5 says, you know that boy from your intro was killed on the 8th of September. That happened like 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, we know that. Miss Diva says, looking beautiful. Always, babe. I'm loving that hat. I'm happy I got the notification. Love you, girl. Love you, too. Thank you so much for checking in. Appreciate y'all. Miss A sent 10, says, hey, TT, good to catch you live and see your gorgeous face. My birthday is next week on the 26th, Libra gang. I know that's right. Libra season is right around the corner. Happy early birthday to you, sis. Thank you for checking in with me. Miss Jones says, just to take a moment off Diddy, rest in peace to Tito Jackson. Long live the Jacksons. Definitely. If it wasn't for Tito, there would be no Jacksons. Let's see here. Uh, Corto says, see, I'm happy. I told you to go to bed. I'm glad you're feeling better. Thank you so much. I did see your message on my last Diddy video, so thank you. I appreciate you. LaKayla Ann says, hey, T, you look lovely. Me and my grandma, who is 82, is watching you. We both love your channel. If you could shout out Miss Christine. Shout out to Miss Christine. Thank you guys both for tuning in and supporting my channel. I really appreciate y'all. Thank you. Beautiful Heart sent $9.99 says, envy is trash. Not giving a damn about the victims. T, please continue to give the diddler hell. Hashtag survivor. Yes, I got y'all. Like I said, you can always tell the elitist attitudes. They will protect each other. You know what I'm saying? The judge did the right thing, and I'm glad that she didn't allow his celebrity to cloud her judgment. Let's see here. Kate Boss says, hey, T, how would they know if he called 50 times? Were his phones tapped? Also, do you think Al B. Shore was the true deadbeat, or was it because Diddy wasn't around? Yeah, he was definitely tapped. I believe the feds, what people have to understand, like I've said before, the feds have like a 97, 98% conviction rate. They don't move until they have everything they need. This is a federal case. It's not a state case. So when they raided his houses a few months ago, I already knew it was going down. So they've been tapping him, following him. The sex trafficking is a part of it, but also the drugs. And I'm sure they're going through his tax information, because you figure a lot of, money's being exchanged, probably cash. The IRS is not getting their cut. So yeah, they were definitely following him for a while. This is, people are thinking that this just came about because of the Cassie lawsuit. I believe they've been following this man for years. Diddy has been a menace for years. The Cassie lawsuit kind of just opened the floodgates for the sex trafficking. But I believe they've been following him for years. And let's not also forget that Diddy, with his arrogant, narcissistic ass, thought he was bigger than the program. When he started calling out Diageo and the liquor brand, which is one of the biggest liquor brands in the world, because he was mad that his liquor wasn't selling, De Leon was not selling like Casamigos, I think that opened another can of worms for him as well. So you can't be doing devious shit, but then you want to call out other people. Remember, that's how him and Mace got into it in 2020. Remember, I did that whole breakdown. He tried to go to the Grammy board and was complaining about racism. Remember, he gave that stupid ass speech during 2020 about how, there's not enough black people on the Grammy board and it's not fair and there's no representation and this and that. And Mace was like, of course, social media was applauding him and Diddy speaking for black folks. Okay. And Mace is like, it's funny that you can call out the white man for unfair treatment. But I came to you as a man once I had the money and I asked you, can I give you $1 million to buy back my publishing? And you told me, okay, I'm remembering what Mace said verbatim, because I did a whole deep dive on this. You told me that the only way I can get my publishing is if I'm able to pay you 5 times what the Jewish man owed you, what the Jewish man was willing to pay for the publishing, or I had to wait until I turned 50-something years old. That is what he told Mace. But this is the same man that's screaming and crying about black excellence and how black people need to be treated fairly in business. But this is the same man that has not treated any of his black talent fairly, ever. He's a hypocrite, point blank, period. Let's see here. Brandis Online Sentence says, farewell to the infamous diddler. Time to play the world's smallest fiddler. Let's the pity party begin while I get out my tiny violin. Definitely. Thank you so much for the super chat, love. Mandris 91 Sentence has been waiting for you on this one. You've been clocking him for years, looking gorgeous and speaking truth. Love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. My real tea sippers who have been here know that I have been clocking Diddy since like the 2013s. But I'm not a celebrity, so of course everybody's only going to say Jag Wright, or Cat Williams. That's all you hear is Jaguar Wright was right and Cat Williams. You know what I'm saying? But my tea sippers know I've been here talking about it long before a lot of people. So I appreciate that, sis. You know what I mean? But I'm just glad that more people are talking about it and, you know, finally feeling comfortable enough to talk about it and explain stuff. You know, even when I talked about the whole situation with Freddie P and how he did him and the making of the band Kids. You know, I did that whole breakdown like in 2021, I believe. And just like, and I watched Making, like I was such a huge fan of Making the Band. And to see that these kids' is talent, they were just used. None of them made any money. You know, as us kids watching it, we just assumed they were rich. You know, that's how kids think. You're on television, you're doing what you want to do, you're singing, dancing. To us, they were living the life. And then now to see so many of these people as adults and that they're broken and nothing has come of their career. This man is a straight up succubus. He's an energy vampire. He used these kids and spit them out. And he's not alone. Lou Pearlman was the same way. He was the original person who started Making the Band, Lou Pearlman, who put together Old Town and NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. Imagine if people were just fair. Oh, Inca Best for a Man, thank you. Imagine if people were just fair. You're rich, you have the fame, you have the prestige. There's only so much you can take to the grave with you. Imagine if they would have just paid those kids fairly. You wouldn't be looking at jail time. Lou Pearlman ended up in prison. Your reputation wouldn't be ruined. Just do the right thing. Is it that hard to do? Just treat folks the way that you want to be treated. I don't understand why that is such a foreign concept in Hollywood. It's crazy. Let's see here. Blockbuster 75 says, free P. Diddy, he did nothing wrong. Okay, thank you for the $5. Appreciate you. That's your opinion. Kathy M says, love from Boston T. The Celtics will be running it the fuck back. I know that's right. Thank you for tapping in. Moneybag Mo's in the building. Shout out to Miss Moneybag Mo. She sent $499.99. Thank you so much, sis, for coming through and showing love today on my stream. I appreciate you. Moneybag Mo do not be playing. She don't play about me. And I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Thank you all. Everybody who's commenting and sending super chats. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all in case I missed some super chats. Malia says, glad to see you're feeling better. Been following you since 2016. Thank you for being entertaining, professional, and genuine. Samaya is my real name. That is pretty. I like that. Thank you, sis. Let's see here. Natalie Senpai says, hey, T, I love your videos. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Diddy surrender his son's passports? Well, they said 6 family members, so I'm assuming they were the sons, especially the ones that are also indicted, Justin and Tristan. So I'm assuming definitely theirs, maybe Mama Combs. But right now, they said the twins are living with Kim's best friend. So that's where the twins are right now. Let's see here. Laura says, hey, T, did you hear that Diddy defender Kevin Liles is resigning from Warner Music Group? Yeah, I talked about that yesterday in my video. I did hear that he is resigning. I think a lot of these people are, you know, the music industry is imploding right now. Money's not being made like that. I think the veil of the celebrity, it's crumbling. There's really no such thing as celebrity anymore. People are not buying it. And even for the influencers, it's not just celebrities, influencers too. Because there's been just so much nonsense at this point that's just left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So they're not really buying what a lot of influencers are selling. They're not buying what a lot of these celebs are selling. Concerts that are all-time low. People are not streaming music like that. People are just over it. Now, there's certain genres that are still doing good, don't get me wrong. Like the country genre is doing really good. Afrobeat, K-pop, they're doing really good. hip hop is really struggling. And I think a lot of it is the nonsense. It's leaving a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So let me go ahead and get on to the next topic. I've been on here for an hour already. Don't even feel like it. Let's see here. Okay, let's talk about Meek Mill. So a lot of people are waiting for Meek Mill to say something. You know, that's Diddy's, friend, allegedly. So Meek Mill decided to take to social media, and this is what he had to say yesterday. Everybody was at him like, your boyfriend's been arrested. What's the tea? Allegedly. So this is what Meek Mill had to say. Meek Mill says, in other news, I bought a farm the other day. Okay, Meek. So, of course, people started dragging him. They're like, you need to learn to read the room. Meek is such a clown. Any other time, if this was anybody else besides his special friend, Meek would have an opinion. Y'all know any other time, Meek won't shut the fuck up. Let it be something that don't got nothing to do with the diddler. All Meek is talking and running his mouth. Them Twitter fingers are not stopping. He is. But now that it's Diddy, it's, in other news, I bought a farm. Really? You're not going to talk about your homeboy, your special friend, taking the walk of shame? Okay, Meek. Y'all know any other time Meek Mill is Twitter fingers, honey. Them fingers don't stop. So now let's get on little Boosie. Let's see, where my little Boosie post? Oh, okay. Matter of fact, okay, let's do the Boosie thing first, and we'll talk about the attorney. Okay. So Lil Boosie has something to say about the charges with Diddy. So I'm going to go ahead and read this to y'all here. Let me share my screen real quick. All right, Boosie. Boosie official. This is what he says. He says, I feel Diddy in jail for basically doing what every other famous entertainer has done. Flew bitches out for some threesomes. He just freakier. We actually go call women prostitutes who fly and willingly to be with a partner for sex. If that's the case, you've been flued out and you had sex. You should be labeled a prostitute. If that's the case, 80% of women reading this and trafficking. Hell nah. You're a celebrity. You got to fly pussy in. Why does he write like this? How else you got to get pussy? You're never in one place. When I saw that video, I was pissed off at that nigga. Like he really got a problem. But facing life in prison for doing basically what so many others have done in the entertainment, and so many other entertainer has done, I disagree. He writes like he's in third grade. First of all, now, Wipe Me Down is my song. When that comes on, I'm a jug and dance, right? But Boosie, you need to sit this one out. Because you're the same man who on your song, you rapped about getting your 7-year-old head at his birthday party from a grown woman. Then years later, you bragged about, Lil Tootsie and your nephew. You basically got them grown prostitutes to take their virginity. You need to sit this out before they start investigating your ass for possible, child trafficking. Because you got grown women fucking your underage nephew and son. So you might want to simmer down and stay about this conversation. Last but not least, this is not the same thing. Him flying out consenting adults to have sex is one thing. But like I said earlier, even if these women are some of the biggest freaks, they're willing to let you put a whole foot up their ass, whatever floats your boat, honey. I am sure that 100% of these women did not sign up to be beat on. In that text message, she told Diddy, when you get fucked up, you put hands on me like I'm a rag doll. I don't care how freaky you are. Nobody wants to be beat and thrown around like a rag doll. That is the difference. Like they said, it's not consensual sex if you're blackmailing people, if you're slamming their head against car doors. So for him to be trying to act like all these women were just willing prostitutes. Again, to be unbiased and fair, some of them may have been. But let's not act like a lot of these guys are not really looking for seasoned prostitutes. There's no power dynamic in that. They're looking for more younger, more naive young girls. That's what they're looking for. So he needs to stop. He needs to stop. None of that made any sense. And he better chill before they get a RICO case on him. Talking about he flying out people. And people need to also understand we are living in hard times. The money is not money for a lot of people. From celebrities to influencers to the everyday man and woman. Groceries are expensive as hell. Okay? People are having to rethink their lifestyle, sell their homes, downsize, turn off the lights. I texted my son the other day. I walked past his room, his TV was on. I took a picture and texted to him. When you leave this house, you turn off the TVs. Electricity ain't free. Okay, so we're all penny pinching. I say that to say he better watch out for some of these girls who are really struggling. The money's not moneying. People are not spending money on OnlyFans like that. They're not going to the strip clubs like that. We're damn near in a recession. Before these girls get together and start doing class action lawsuits against a lot of y'all in the industry. A lot of these male rappers. And a lot of these females who play escorts. A lot of these people have help. There's always a middle woman or a middle man. I remember a few years ago, and I can't think of the club, this girl DM'd me because I was talking about the Summer Bunny situation with that idiot Faith Rogers. And this girl DM'd me and she was telling me basically all the tea about this club in Houston and how one of the ladies was a madam. And she was telling me that she recruits girls through DMs and, you know, she ends up having these girls hook up with different celebrities, and she named different celebrities. She was just spilling all this tea in my DMs. And I went to the page, and when you see the page, you would just think, oh, you know, bottle service nights at such and such club. Come join us on a Sunday. When I tell you it's so much stuff, not just in the industry, the sex trafficking rabbit hole goes deep. A lot of y'all think that these girls are just there on some bottle service to, you know, hold up, you know, flares and, oh, hey, happy birthday, I'm in your section. A lot of them are also being pimped out by a lot of these clubs. And it was like a pretty decent club in Houston that the girl was telling me about, you know, but that page was deleted courtesy of that fucking weirdo Vlad, so I don't have access to the DMs over there at all, but I remember her telling me that. But yeah, somebody said P-Valley. Yeah. A lot of them girls in Vegas. So, you know, a lot of the nightlife culture, you got to watch out for that. And there's nothing wrong with working in the nightlife, right? Being a bottle girl, working in the club. You know, 'cause I love my bottle girls. I love y'all with y'all's little short shorts and fishnets. You know, anytime I see my little bottle girls, I show them love when I'm out here in the Twin Cities. So I love my, yes, Taz's Angels, they're another one. I love my bottle girls, but for y'all who are innocent and you guys are in it thinking that, you know, you're just working for tips, and just be aware that a lot of people are watching you in the club and that you will get offers, and you will have people who'll be like, hey, you know, come with me to Florida this weekend. We got a party, you know, and at that point you have to really ask yourself, is this something that you're willing to do? Because, yeah, you might get down there, it might just be a party, and they want you to make drinks. Or you might get there, it might be a whole freak off. Where now, you know, everybody wants to put their foot in your coochie. I'm just saying. So, just be careful, ladies. Just be careful. Yeah, Taz's Angels. I was talking about Taz's Angels to Emily. Because Emily's younger than me. I said, I don't even know if you remember Taz's Angels. Because when they was around, I was young. When they was around. But Taz was pimping them girls. One of the Taz's Angels, because somebody left a comment on my page. That's what made me think of Taz's Angels. That I went to go like Google some stuff yesterday. Because somebody left a comment. Y'all named the Taz's Angel girl. I can't think of her name. But she's pregnant by an NFL player. I didn't even realize she was a Taz's Angel bitch. You spilled that tea in my comment section. I said, damn, I ain't seen her since she was selling pussy. But she came up now. She got a football player baby daddy. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a lot of them. That's why I said, like, even with that whole Zeus network, you know, they keep pulling Lemmy's name in there, too, saying that Lemmy out here pimping out them girls. He's sleeping with the girls, causing chaos between the girls. And a lot of them girls are being flued out around the country. So, yeah, it goes deep. I wasn't going to say her name. Y'all are messy. Not y'all saying her name, child. I was trying to give her peace because when I went on her page, she was pregnant. I said, oh, shit. Y'all are messy. Let me see here. Okay, so now let's talk about Stevie J and Mimi. Let me pull this up here before I go. So Mimi is and Mimi, I love me some Mimi. She's a tea sipper, always shows love. She went to my first ATL event, came on and did an interview. So I knew that Mimi had a show coming out. I already knew this, but I didn't know that this was what was going on now with the show. So this is unfortunate, but I'm not shocked. So let's go ahead and listen to this. Make sure it's unmuted. Okay.
We're going to have a dating show.
Yes.
And I was up to host it. I was very disappointed in this. And it's not happening now,
It's
right?
not happening. I was going to have a dating show with my daughter's father. It was on BET Network. And they literally, we were going on probably 8-9 months of almost a year of planning and preparation and picking the cast and the whole nine. And allegedly, BET canceled the show because they didn't want the association with the situation with Puff and my daughter's father, who is really good friends with him. So this thing with him runs really deep. It runs deep to the point where it's messing up a lot of people's money.
You were going to have a dating show.
All right, so y'all just heard what Mimi Faust had to say. And she's right. And the problem is, you know, Stevie J was the main one out here. Remember, at some point we thought Stevie J and Diddy, you know, was Diddy's boyfriend. We thought Meek Mill had been replaced with Stevie J. Stevie J wouldn't stop caping for him. He was on TMZ doing interviews saying Diddy ain't ever did nothing and everybody's hating. He was telling us about how he was there when the raid happened. Oh, they had guns to my head. I was coming out the shower in the towel, whatever the hell he was saying. He wouldn't shut the fuck up. So he made his association, you know, overly well known. We didn't need to know all that. We didn't need to know that you were on Star Island, you know, the day it happened. So, you know, the problem is now that he's been arrested, the networks are going to fall back. They're not going to want to be associated with Stevie J. So unfortunately, it's going to affect Mimi because she was doing this show with Stevie. And they've been working on it for a while now. But I'm not surprised that they're distancing themselves. And I think what's going to happen is that you're going to see more and more of this, of people distancing themselves, even from them boys. You know, the only place I'm really seeing all this undue sympathy is on the Shade Room. Most people with common sense do not feel bad for Diddy's sons. And I'm not including Quincy when I say Diddy's sons. One, Quincy's not his son. That is his stepson. Quincy has a father who is Al B. Shore. Quincy, I suggest, please, go home to your father. Stay away from this mess. But Justin, he has been named in the lawsuit. Christian, they say he's a deviant. Okay? So, again, everybody keeps wanting to say, oh, those are his kids. Yeah, they're his kids. But last time I checked, his kids are closer to 30 than they are 20. Y'all don't have the same sympathy for regular people's kids. Let that be my 23-year-old. Y'all wouldn't give a damn. Y'all be like, throw his ass in jail next. But because it's Diddy's kids, everybody's supposed to, leave the kids alone. Not if they're in a federal indictment. Leave Quincy alone, though. Quincy ain't did shit. But the other two, Misa needs to go get her son. Remember, Misa was blasting them a few months ago when she was saying, fish rots from the head down. So I think that's the sad part. It's like, I get that, a few years ago, they lost, Kim, but that does not excuse the behavior. And unfortunately, this is learned behavior from their father. They didn't wake up one day thinking that they could just do whatever, behave in any old type of way towards women. They learned that from their father. It's sad. And that's usually how it is. It's like they'll let the male children do all types of crazy stuff, but then they're very protective of the daughters. Even recently, they said King got a baby on the way. T.I.'s son. He done knocked up some girl, I don't know who. But I'm like, damn, so King got a baby on the way, but when it was Deja, she had to go get her hymen checked. Make it make sense. Should have been checking King and letting Deja live her life. So it's really sad. Like, they'll let, Brandy and Ray J. Ray J out here wilding out, doing porn with Kim Kardashian and everything else. So it's like, the boys will get away with a lot of stuff that the girls cannot. So I just think at this point, a lot of people associated with Diddy, they're going to feel that backlash. They're going to feel it. And people are going to try and distance themselves. And it's no different. It happens all the time. Same thing when it happened with Bill Cosby, People distance themselves. It was what it was. Same thing with Harvey Weinstein. So right now he's a pariah. And he's been denied bond. So this is really serious. It's very much serious. And I don't feel bad for him. This is a man who basically ran the entertainment industry with an iron fist, did not care about anybody else besides him and his children and his immediate family. And even then, I can't even say his immediate family. He really only cared about the children, maybe the mama, because he didn't care about the baby moms. Look how he did them. He was with Misa. Misa was friends with Kim. Then Kim started creeping with Diddy. How you creeping with your first baby mama's friend? Then she gets pregnant with Tristan. And then what happens years later? Kim is friends with Sarah Chapman. That's her homegirl. Yeah, me my girl. Diddy starts fucking on Sarah Chapman. She gets pregnant. Then Kim runs to go get pregnant with the twins. So he don't even have respect for the women in his life. So unfortunately, I think that people gave him way too much grace and way too many excuses. Somebody said Lori Harvey was out there. Lori Harvey got in and out. She did a photo op with her parents and said bye. Okay. I don't believe that, but okay. Shut up, T. I'm gonna just sip my water, child. If you say so, Pooh. Anyways, Dexter Davis. I'm gonna just mind my business on that. I'm gonna just mind my business on that one. Dexter Davis says Diddy finna be the first to ever catch a FRICO charge. Y'all are a mess. Y'all are too funny. So instead of RICO, he gonna catch a FRICO charge. I believe it. Let's see here. SL says NDAs are null and void with criminal prosecutions. Exactly. At this point, I don't even trust NDAs. Y'all are wasting y'all's time having these folks sign NDAs. Just understand everything you do and say around people can be used against you. I just come to that conclusion. I don't care enough. If I said it, I said it, bitch. I don't know what else you want me to do. Because these NDAs are not doing anything. Bitches be signing NDAs and still be spilling tea. So what is the point? And then you sue them, they ain't got no money. So I ain't got time. I ain't about to stress me out. I think at this point, adults before NDAs, what was y'all doing? You watch what you said around certain people. But see, we've gotten so comfortable with, letters and, oh, I'm that person, sign an NDA. You just watch what you say. You watch how you behave. You watch yourself. But unfortunately, there's no more checks and balances. Yeah, them NDAs don't mean anything at this point. That R. Kelly situation taught me that. Them bitches act like they didn't know what an NDA was. I'm like, didn't all these hoes sign NDAs? They was telling everything. I said, well, damn. Somebody said Shaq and his new girlfriend, she messed up that bag. She was looking for clout. And Shaq said he's not claiming her. He said he didn't know who that was. He said it wasn't him. It was him. But it's just weird. Shaq is just so big. And it's weird that everybody he gets with is so small. Now, I mean, granted, he's insanely big. But why does he not date anybody who's at least like 5'11"? Like Shawnee was tall. But everybody he's dating is either super young or like really tiny where they look like a kid. Like even in the picture with this girl, he has like his hands on her boobs and them hands is big as hell. It's like 4 of mine. It's just covering the whole titty. I'm like, what the fuck? Shaq got to do better. He like him some little young. Remember, he slid into that Home Depot girl's DM. And she wasn't number like 19. Shaq always getting caught somebody DM, child. Somebody said he got a little person fetish. Well, everybody's little next to Shaq. So, I mean, I'll say that. But it's just weird. Like, he likes really, like small, petite, young. Oh, no, that's weird. It's a big man. But yeah, she messed up that bag. Shaq was like, I don't know who that is. Next. Man, let's see here. OV Ho sent 5 says, why didn't Diddy have a mugshot and Trump had one on the state case? Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully it'll come out soon. But it might come out within the next few days now that he's not getting out. I'm sure that mugshot will be leaking out. Mandris says, that man is sick and the judge is giving baby. Her energy is on point. Isis James sent $9.99 says, hey T, just got out of surgery. I'll watch the playback. I feel better. You look cute, by the way. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for checking in. I'm glad you made it safe and sound out of surgery. So good luck with your healing, speedy recovery. So thank you for checking in, sis. Let's see here. Cuddle Penguin XO says, T, did you see the 5 nights at Diddy mean? I was dying. No, I haven't seen that yet. There's been a lot of memes online. I haven't seen that one particularly. Let's see here. Mommy's Heather says a prostitute can still say no. No is no, period. Yeah, they can. They can. Rona Red says, isn't Boosie incriminating himself? Anyways, I love the content, T. Thank you for everything you do. Yeah, that's why I say he might need to, he might want to simmer down before they start peeling back his onion. Boosie just be doing too much. SP says, hey T, I'm coming from New Jersey to the Millie party. I can't wait. Congratulations on everything. You're a real one. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you. The Millie party is in like 2.5 weeks, so I'm super excited. It's coming together really nicely. So I will see you at the party. So thank you for checking in. Let's see here. I'm trying to make sure I read the rest of the super chats before I leave here. Uncle Bad Touch sent 10, says, love you, T. Been rocking with you since you had 2002 behind your name. Just joined the chat, but did anybody bring up the bullshit little Boosie said trying to defend Diddy? Yes, thank you so much for checking in. Thank you for the super chat. We just talked about it, so you'll probably, once I get out the live, just go back and watch the playback. But we talked about it. So thank you. Let's see here. Jerry Belize sent 10, says, finally caught alive. He was the face and the spearhead of the downfall of what is considered to be the best time for music and the movement. Hip-hop was revolutionary. Puff made it derivative. I don't know. Can't read what you wrote the last word. So you're saying that before Puffy a lot of the music was like more conscious. It was, was talking about a lot more stuff. And then after Puffy, he kind of watered it down, because I think that's what they called like the bling bling era, the shiny suit, the shiny suit. Say that 50 times fast. The shiny suit era. I know they called that when Puffy and Mace were out. The whole more money, more problems. So a lot of people back then, they did have a lot to say, because at that point, Bad Boys was running the industry, and everything they were putting out was like a remake of something else. But it hit. It hit. For a lot of us younger people, we didn't look at it that deep. We just liked the music. But I remember a lot of old people complaining about, like, Diddy and his constant sampling and things like that back then. I definitely remember that. So thank you for the super chat. Let's see here. Wavy Taste in $49.99 says, "Hey Auntie, it's your favorite soldier checking in. Just wanted to stop by and say hi. Also, I'm not surprised at what Bussy Badass had to say about the Diddy situation. This is the same guy who let a grown woman have sex with his minor son. Shaking my head." Yes, I definitely agree. And thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for your service as well. I appreciate you. Cornega Morgan sent 5, says, "I'm wondering if Baby Love's mom is regretting having a baby with Diddy. She only had the child that is getting the short end of the stick." Who knows? At this point in time, I'm not sure. She should be fine. Don't she got a degree in IT or something like that, from what people were saying? But that's the problem. People, again, this man has been nasty, has been putting hands on women, have been disrespecting women, but you had these chicks who feel like somehow they're exempt. And she decided to have a baby with him. So that's on her to raise that baby child. Good luck. Let's see here. China Aaliyah sent $4.99 says, "Did you talk about the vid with him randomly naming all those celebrities and what that was about? And Kalina on Love and Hip Hop talking about selling her soul?" No, I didn't see the video of him randomly naming celebrities. I haven't seen that yet. But thank you for the super chat, sis. Let's see here. Raven Phantom sent 5, says, "T, I listened to Kendrick Lamar's new song, Watch the Party Die. He's speaking the truth." Yes. And what's very ironic is that before all this happened, he had dropped Watch the Party Die. And maybe he low-key knew something that we all didn't know. Because I think at this point, especially hip-hop, it's going to have to be revamped. It's going to have to be totally disassembled and reassembled with new people. Because the gatekeepers, the people who have been gatekeeping hip-hop, who have been at the top of the food chain. Remember in 2020, that video of Diddy, Jay-Z, Meek Mill, and a bunch of others are all at the Rock Nation brunch. Remember, they were all toasting to each other. That has to stop. It can no longer be, Drake too. It can't keep being the good old boys club. Because at this point, that mentality is what has ruined hip-hop. It's like this elusive club where these guys protect each other, and they've been able to do all types of deviant shit to people and get away with it for years. But I think the cookie's slowly crumbling one by one. And R. Kelly was a major catalyst in that. And it's very interesting that ever since the R. Kelly situation, you haven't heard any of these bigwigs in hip-hop speak on R. Kelly at all. You've never heard Diddy address it, Jay-Z, none of them. But when he was out here and he was popping, they all got music with R. Kelly. They've all been on tour with R. Kelly. They've all done things with R. Kelly. But when the shit hit the fan, everybody was trying to distance themselves. So I think the person who got to go next is Russell Simmons. They need to drag his ass out of Bali. I think he definitely, he's done a lot of mess. I know a lot of people keep saying Jay-Z as well, but I don't know when that will happen. But I know there's active cases against Russell that just seem to have just been ignored. I don't get that at all. Somebody says Russell needs to come home and go to jail. He needs to come home and do something. Let's see here. Mandarins Santan says, "T, if they really do seize everything Diddy had, property, businesses, money, everything tied to him, how does that affect the good people and artists?" I'm not really sure. But the problem is with the RICO, everything that they feel was ill-gotten gains through what they're charging with, which is mainly the human trafficking, the drugs, and all that stuff. If they feel like that's where he got a bulk of his money, they're going to take that. And legally, that's what they're going to do. His kids will probably have to, get real jobs. Can't just be trust fund babies at this point in time. I'm sure he has some things set away for his kids, but it's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out, because it's not really going to affect the artist under him, because he was never paying his artist anyways. So they can't miss what they never had. He was never cutting them a significant check. He was never paying them fairly. And I mean, this goes back, a lot of us speak about Danny D. Kane and Day 26, but we can go back to Mark Curry. You know how he did Mark Curry. Craig Mack. So it's a shame. Even Biggie's estate. So he's been doing this for years. 4 years. He's not a nice person. Let's see here. D-Drop says, speaking of trafficking, look into Candace Owens' connections into Andrew Tate via her husband. Oh, yeah, I have. We talked about that on Discord, I think, like a week ago. This dude, I forget his name, he made a video. I had never heard of him before, but it was a really good video on the connection between Andrew Tate and Candace Owens. And I've been telling y'all for a while, I do not like Candace Owens. It's something about her, very wishy-washy. She says what people want to hear at the time. And she's a hypocrite. And I pointed that out on multiple occasions. The lady is a fucking hypocrite, because she has all this smoke for females. Who's the homewrecker? Ariana Grande is a whore and a homewrecker. Drug Ariana Grande. Every female rapper, they're sluts and whores and... Okay. But Kanye West, who is clearly addicted to porn, who tried to start his own porn website before his tea got clocked and he got indicted in a lawsuit. He's kind of simmered down on the porn website. Oh, she's sitting with him. No issues. Kanye said in an interview with Candace that Jay-Z needs to cheat on Beyonce. Did Candace put on her moral hat and check Kanye? No, she laughed. Oh, so it's cute when Kanye tells Jay-Z to cheat on Beyonce. Joke or not. But you drug Ariana Grande for being a side chick. She's a hypocrite. Hands down. And I think people are starting to see it now with the way she's handling Andrew Tate. Okay? She has a lot of excuses for Andrew Tate. A lot of excuses for his behavior. And, hate Andrew Tate or like Andrew Tate, that's your business. But at the end of the day, he's been accused of sex crimes. He's been on camera admitting that he likes to smash underage girls. He's done a lot of stuff. He can try and play it off and be like, oh, it's 10 years ago. But it's funny that when anybody else makes a mistake that was years ago, Candace has no problem pulling those receipts. Remember Kamala Harris, the vice president currently, she was all types of whores to Candace. She was clocking her sexual tea from like 20, 30 years ago. Who she smashed, Big Willie, all of a sudden, Candace is bringing that up. But Andrew Tate, who's been in trouble recently, who a lot of these videos are not 10 years old. They might be a few years old, but they're not 10 years old. All of a sudden, that doesn't matter. So basically, in this video, she did an interview that went viral with Andrew Tate. And a lot of her supporters were clocking her tea and dragging her because she does not have the same energy for Andrew Tate as she does for everybody else. It's almost like she wouldn't even, if she was asking him questions, she was answering them for him. Like she was just so softball with Andrew Tate. And that's usually not her demeanor. Usually Candace Owens, she's going so hard in her interviews. So then people started putting together the connection between Candace and her husband and Andrew Tate. And I had no idea that her husband knew Andrew Tate and they had known each other for years. This is why I say a lot of these people in the industry are connected. Isn't it ironic that her husband, and I didn't even realize he was the owner of Parler. Remember that app that they ended up taking down because of January 6th? Her husband was the owner of Parler, and he's rich. He owns a bunch of other stuff. He comes from money. And she had only known him, I think, like a month or two. And then they ran off and got married together. So it's like, funny how she wasted no time, jumped right into a marriage with this man, but we're not supposed to look at you as a gold digger. So the gold digging moniker is only for black women tied to hip hop, but not you. Even though you married somebody after only knowing them like a month and a half. But whatever. So basically, this video was really good. They were connecting all the dots. And so people are saying that the rabbit hole goes a lot deeper with Andrew Tate and Candace Owens' husband. Let me see if I can find the video. I forget the guy's name. If I can find the video, I'll show y'all a bit of it. It was really good. It was probably one of the best breakdowns I've ever seen on the situation because I didn't know anything really about her husband like that and the Andrew Tate connection. Oh, this is it right here. Matter of fact, I must have just watched it again the other night. You know how like YouTube shows you with that little red mark? So I was watching it like the other night. But this is the guy. I'm going to show y'all. His name is Too Lazy to Try. Hold on. Okay, here goes the video. So this is the video. He got 10,000 likes on here. You see, I liked it. I was watching it the other night, but he clocks her tea. Like, he really breaks it down. It came out 4 weeks ago.
With this exchange.
Off camera, I think he would be the first person to admit that. Like, he's a flawed human being.
I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away.
I know Andrew pretty well, and like, you know, as I said, I know that he's full of flaws.
And obviously Andrew claims he's changed now and he's a better person. But I mean, back then, which wasn't that long ago, you know, I think just 4 or 5 years ago, he was clearly a terrible, awful human being. There's no way around it. And you'd wonder why somebody like Candace's husband would want to be friends with somebody like that. And I'm not
going to play this whole video, but when you get a chance, y'all can go watch it. It's a really good breakdown. But yeah, she's full of crap, you know, and that's how Andrew Tate got a lot of his money, was from pimping and from, you know, this whole phone sex thing, you know. So, and again, I'm not saying that the women weren't benefiting or they didn't like it initially or, you know, it wasn't something that they didn't want to do. I'm not necessarily saying that, but that's how he got a lot of his wealth. And like I've always said in the past, when you look at people who have just money hand over fist, damn near billionaires, you know, multi-millions of dollars, a lot of them do things, they get to those positions because they've taken advantage of people. A lot of them are not necessarily good people. And I'm not saying everybody who's rich, everybody who has money, I'm not saying that. But once you get to a certain tax bracket, once you get to a certain level, a lot of people in those positions end up stepping on people that they deem beneath them. They end up using people and spitting them out. Same with Vince McMahon in the WWE. How many times have I talked about Vince McMahon? Look where he's at today outside of the whole, you know, sexual abuse allegations and all that. Before all that hit the fan, right? He was able to create generational wealth for Stephanie and his son Shane. But you have wrestlers like Kamala Harris, the Ugandan giant, who had to have his leg amputated because he had severe diabetes. There was no health care for him or other members of the WWE. He eventually died. You have so many wrestlers who put in work, who put in their blood, sweat, their tears, who put their bodies through hell. Y'all know I'm an old school wrestling fan, okay? So many wrestlers have passed, and they have nothing to their names. The only thing they have left is their legacy. But meanwhile, Vince McMahon and his family, they'll be forever good. It's crazy. So that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of people, Kamala Harris, that was his real name, was Kamala Harris. But he was the Ugandan giant. He was one of my favorite wrestlers back in the day. He used to creep people out. He would bang on his stomach. They made it sound like he was a cannibal, but he was like a really dope wrestler. But they did this documentary on him back in the day before he died. And it was really sad. Really, really sad. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that imagine if he was fair And he not only paid the wrestlers what they deserved, but they had health care, you know, they had benefits. A lot of them would not have to turn to drugs and would not be dying at young ages. A lot of wrestlers that were in the WWE, WWF, they're not living to be long, you know, to be in their 50s and 60s. A lot of them have died in like their 40s, late 30s. It's sad. Yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage, he ran into a tree. I think he had a heart attack or something, and he ran into a tree and died. He was so dope. I loved Macho Man. Slam into a Slim Jim. Them Slim Jims, boy, them commercials. I swear. But yeah, it's a lot. If you really like dig into like the history of wrestling and how like just so many wrestlers were just used and abused and spit out. And that's how I feel like about a lot of these like, you know, super rich people like Diddy. You know, they use these singers and these kids' talent, you know, suck them of their energy, their talent, that they spit them out. But they get to like keep on living, you know, their lifestyle. Andrew Tate, he used these women, you know, to do whatever, phone sex, you know, all that stuff to build his name and build his wealth and then spit them out. So, yeah, so if you guys get a chance, definitely watch that YouTube video. So, yeah, I've been out here for 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to leave. This has been a wonderful stream. I can't believe we had over 15,000 people in here. So, thank you guys so much for the love and support. I really appreciate it. Let me see here. Let me read these last few super chats and I'm going to get up out of here. Keek says, Candace has always been a peak Misha. Jay Jersey Girl says, behind every fortune, there's an even greater crime. I like that. That's a good slogan. Keek says, the rich get bored and start trying to play God. Ooh, y'all are going in. Lolly67 says, Nick Fuentes has also called her out on this. She's a hypocrite. He clocked the entire Daily Wire for platforming her to bash black women. But now when it's their own group, they don't claim her. Oh, yeah. But Nick Fuentes is a confused biracial racist. I can't take him seriously, but I'm glad he did call out her hypocrisy. But yeah, the Daily Wire, they're trash. I haven't watched them since. They're just trash. They're trash. They don't even come up on my feed anymore. D Magboss says, hey T, please look into the Chief of Staff, Christina Corham. I love your views and coverage. Okay. Let me write that name down. All right, I will look into that when I get a chance and see what the T is. Oh, hold on. Oh, this is Diddy's. Oh. They're saying, they're the ones that they keep comparing her to Ghislaine Maxwell. Oh. So they're going to call her in now, is what you're saying. Let me show y'all this. I was like, I didn't know who she was at first. Child, hold up. Share this tab. Remember this lady? We talked about her a while back on one of my videos. So they're saying meet Diddy Combs' manipulator in chief, who was once compared to Ghislaine Maxwell. That's her. If anybody's a gatekeeper, Christina would know everything. Remember she was in the lawsuit with Little Rod. Little Rod blasted her. So yeah, I'm sure she'll be subpoenaed. Remember when everything came out, he had his socks tucked into his pants tucked into his socks, and she was right next to him. They both looked sick as hell. When things were going good, they were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. When shit hit the fan, he was tucking his pants into his socks, and she looks like she about to throw up. Little Rod. He said he gonna get him a check, bitch. All right. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see what ends up coming of this. But once again, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and head out. I love you guys. Have a good day. And I will keep you guys up to date on any information that I find out concerning the Diddy case. Bye, everyone.